Jaden of Spilled Coffee Studio, and I thought that I would talk a little bit about my accepted art portfolio as well as showing you all the pieces that I made. So let's get to it. Alright, so first things first, I was not submitting my portfolio into a school where basically like it centers just on art, something like SCAD or RISD. That's not the kind of school that I was submitting to. I was submitting to a local university, and to get into their like specific art program that they have where you can get a BFA in studio art as well as like whatever specific concentration that you choose, you need to submit a portfolio, which is what I did. This also was not going to be like my first year at this school, like where I had to do all of the other like general education classes. I did those at a local community college before transferring over to this school. And the school that I'm going to, by the way, is JMU. Like I said, I was accepted into the SADAH, which is the School of Art, Design, and Art History. And I'll be getting my BFA in studio art with my concentrations being in painting and drawing. So, like I said, for this, you needed to submit a portfolio. So you needed between like 12 to 16 pieces for a portfolio, which is like the recommended amount for a transfer student, because that's what I was considered. You also need to like submit like your unofficial transcript, and that was about it. You could also, I think, like a letter was like an optional kind of thing, but that's only if you were applying for the scholarship, which I didn't do. However, I did end up getting a scholarship from the art school. I got both an email as well as a staff, I believe it was like one of the advisors of the art school called me to tell me that I had gotten accepted for a specific scholarship, which was one where like I guess they had noted my portfolio, and then they went through like judging and determined that I had a strong portfolio, which meant that I was able to get this scholarship, which I'm very, very thankful for. School's so expensive and it's kind of crazy, but let me get into all of the different pieces that I made. All right, so you might see me looking down a couple of times. It's because I'm going to be looking at my iPad so I can see like what the pieces I had as well as like the titles for them, because I don't usually title my pieces, but I had to do it for this, and it's something that I am not very good at. So if you realize that some of the painting or piece titles are great, I apologize. It's not my strong suit. I'd also like to mention I submitted 13 pieces. However, I will not be showing one of them, basically because at that time the piece is like a self-portrait, and it was related to the way that I was viewing myself, and it was kind of negative, not the best thing, but I am no longer like really feeling that way. And I've even like covered up the piece in like gesso and stuff, and I want to do something brand new on it. So I will not be showing that one, but I will be showing you guys everything else. So I'll insert the pieces right here. But the very first one I did is called Feeling Blue, which I just posted the Coffee and Create for that one. But it is a watercolor piece, and basically, let me tell you like how you have to submit in slide room first off, or at least this is what my school required with the pieces. You needed to give them a title, and then you could add like additional details. I did the medium as well as like a little description of the piece. So Feeling Blue is a watercolor piece, and it's basically a self-portrait of me, and it represented, you know, the way that I felt after my mom passed, because I was feeling very, very blue. I was just like had this like deep sadness that had come over me because it was such a difficult time in my life. And I used just blue, of course, because, you know, blue is a color that one associates with sadness. And that's basically the first piece that I submitted. Next off, I have Record Store, which is like one of my favorite pieces I've done. I can see that there's like a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed, but I adore it. Now for slideshow, when you insert like your pieces that can be older than like 2 years, this one, like when I submitted it, it was about like a year and a half, but now it's about like 2 years old now, so I got it in just in time. But the medium for this piece was graphite. I actually did this piece as a final for my drawing 1 class when I first started at the local community college. I ended up getting 100 on that final, which I was very proud of. But basically, it's pretty well known that I really adore older music, and especially like rock and roll. So I included a bunch of different artists in the posters and the albums that were shown on the wall. Some like posters, or some artists on the posters include Poison, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Def Leppard was another one. And then the artists that are on the records are, there's Jimi Hendrix, who I absolutely love Jimi Hendrix. There's Wild Cherry, who you probably only know them from one song, it's like Play That Funky Music, but I really like the album art, so I included that one. Derek and the Dominoes, Billy Idol, Kiss, Aerosmith, Eagles, Van Halen, Bon Jovi, as well as the Kinks. Now I think there would be like certain artists that I would include because I've like started like really enjoying their music. One would be the band Slaughter, who I absolutely adore. I love their music so much. And another one would probably be the band Danger Danger, which is another like 80s band that I absolutely love. They have some absolutely amazing songs. But let's get on to the third piece. I almost said the fourth. Well, the third piece that I included actually is two. It's a diptych. You guys, there's a video I made of me working on this piece, but I called it not worth much at all. In the material, or the medium is graphite. I actually did it like using just like a little like crappy mechanical pencil, but it's a self-portrait diptych, and I wanted to show me grading myself the same way some might grade like a diamond. So like when you grade a diamond, like you use like these little like magnifying glass type things, and you hold it like the diamond up in the tweezers. But I basically wanted me to be like grading myself and being like, not so happy with how it looks. Again, that's another thing about like the way that I was feeling towards myself, which is not the most positive thing in the entire world, but you know, I've kind of gotten over the way that I feel about myself like that. But you know, I also thought the concept of it was like a little bit interesting. I like the side where I am like looking at the piece as opposed to the one where I'm supposed to be like held up like a lot better, because I feel like the one where I'm supposed to be like held up in like little tweezers looks a little awkward, but oh well. The third piece, if my iPad froze. So this was another piece that I had to do for a class. This was for my 2D design class, and it was called Say Cheese. For this particular piece, it was done in acrylic paint, and we had to like choose like a color scheme for it, and then like do like different like shades and tones of like whatever like color scheme that we chose. I'm sorry. And basically this is an acrylic painting of a bunch of old cameras that my grandfather had given to me, because my grandfather was a photographer. And I'm really happy with how this piece came out. I especially love the camera on the left, because I think it came out the very best. The background, bit of a hot mess. You could totally tell I did that last minute, but I still think the piece is like really cool. And also I included orange because it's a favorite color of his. Next is called Light It. I don't think I filmed a musical make for this one. Yeah, I know I didn't, because I got super frustrated while working on this piece to the point where I was like, not filming it. But this is a musical make that is based off of Motley Crue's song Smokin' in the Boys' Room. The medium of the piece is acrylic paint, but there's also colored pencil, which I use to do like the graffiti on the bathroom stalls. So before, I've mentioned that music really inspires me, and you know, that's something you can kind of see throughout this portfolio. And certain songs, like through the lyrics and stuff, there's like a storytelling, and I can kind of like picture like what something might look like. And of course, this song, with it being called Smokin' in the Boys' Room, it wasn't very hard to do. The guy definitely looks older than like a high schooler, but like, oh well, that's fine. The next one is another musical make. I called it What's There. It could also, I guess, be like Who's There. I didn't want to give them like the titles of the songs as like the title for my piece. I thought about doing that, but I was like, let me try to do something a little bit different. So this is a watercolor piece. I did make a musical make about this one, and this is inspired by Metallica's song Enter Sandman, which is like one of my favorite like Metallica songs of all time. I don't care if that is like such a basic like opinion, like, but like the song's just too good. But I wanted it to be like a piece of like a, you know, like a little kid, like there's something there in the dark, and he's like clutching his teddy bear, and it's like, oh my god, like what's there, you know, what's that thing behind me? So I thought that would look really cool. I also included a Metallica poster on the wall, which is the Black, the Black album, which is the album that has Enter Sandman on it. When I do these musical makes, I like to make little references to the artist who sung the song that I based the piece off of, without like putting in their names like big and bold like anywhere. So for this particular one, I did the poster on the wall, and in the last piece, the one inspired by Smoking in the Boys' Room, there's like Motley Crue like graffiti on the bathroom stalls, though it's a little hard to see, but still a reference to those particular artists. The next piece that I did was called Golden Birthday. So this is a graphite and acrylic paint piece. So on August 20th of this year, I turned 20 years old, which is my golden birthday, which basically means the age I reached corresponds with the day that I was born. And so they say that the year of your golden birthday is supposed to be one that is full of luck and like really good things. However, that was not the case for me with this particular year. It just wasn't very good, and I really hope that 24 will be a lot better. I've made some pretty good goals for myself and stuff like that, and I think I'll talk about them in another video. But yeah, but I did this piece in graphite. I don't like the way I did my hair. I got really tired with it, you can totally tell, as well as the background. It's not great, but oh well. The next piece I did was Mom and Me. I believe this was a coffee and crate. This is a colored pencil piece, and colored pencil like totally like kicks me in the butt every time I use it. It's not my forte at all. But so basically the piece is about my love of rock and roll. So I got that love of rock and roll music from my mom, and it was something that she listened to growing up, and then as I grew up, was also listening to songs that she listened to. So I took a picture of my mom as a teenager and then a picture of me as a teenager, and it basically looked like we were like a group or like a pair of like best friends, like hanging out, talking about like the artists that we loved and stuff like that. Because I remember my mom and we had a conversation when we went to a concert in Washington, D.C. It was the Joan Jett, Poison, Def Leppard, Motley Crue concert. And she had mentioned that she really loved, like, that we shared, like, the same love of this music, because when she was growing up, like, nobody in her family really liked it that much, except maybe for, like, her brother, aka my uncle, and she liked that, you know, we were able to share that love of this music together, because my older sister isn't a fan of it, but, you know, I obviously am. This is another piece that has a lot of little details. The poster that I'm reading in the piece is actually a poster that I own. It was my mom's, and we found it, like, cleaning out the basement. And then there's also different little cassettes laying around. I know one is, like, the Michael Jackson album. There's also a Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Poison, and LA Guns poster on the wall. My favorite one is the LA Guns one. I think it turned out really well. But I mentioned, like, colored pencil is a pain in my butt. It's so hard to blend out. I have another colored pencil piece in as a part of this portfolio, but anybody who can do, like, stuff in colored pencil, like, I salute you, because it's not my forte. That's something I'll need to practice on this year. Maybe I could add it to, like, one of my little art goals. The next piece is, I just called it Lonely Island. I know, creative, right? This was another, like, coffee and crate, I think, and it is done in watercolor. So basically the meaning behind this piece is, after my mom passed away, I was very lonely, because, you know, like, we lived together in the same apartment, and we liked a lot of the same things, and we did a lot together. Like, every Saturday we would go to a local coffee shop and get coffee and talk and stuff like that. So I am alone a lot more now that she's no longer here. And I wanted to show my loneliness as an island, because to me, islands are something that can be very, very lonely. Like, sometimes they are just in the vast ocean all alone, you know, with nothing around them for miles and miles. And I just wanted to kind of capture my feeling of loneliness as me being a little island. Next up is a ink pen and watercolor piece. I called it Didn't Fly High Enough. I like this concept and I really want to redo it with a different piece. But it's a pointillism piece. I actually really like pointillism. I hadn't done it in a long time until I did this piece. But it's a piece of a bird and there's an arrow going through it, and then the background of the piece was done in watercolor. So basically my entire concept with this piece, which I did not include in this drawing, which is like why I want to do another one, but I wanted to call it Didn't Fly High Enough. It was kind of something about like freedom. So it would have been like a bird coming out of a cage and being shot down by an arrow, like just barely like gotten out. And it was just kind of a piece about like sometimes freedom isn't all that it was caught up to be, or at least sometimes it's difficult to explain, but it was a piece that I had an idea for, and I really hope I'll be able to do it again in the future and give it, a bit more justice and, kind of get the point across a bit better. I also apologize if you could have heard my neighbors out in the hallway. Next up is Caught, which is an acrylic. Yeah, it's an acrylic painting. I have a musical make for this, so that'll be coming. I don't know if this will come first or the musical make, we'll see. But, so this is an acrylic painting based off of Nickelback's song Animals. And the song is basically, the song is about the couple having a good time in the car together. But there's a specific part of the song where the couple get caught by the girl's dad. And basically I wanted to show this particular moment of them getting caught, which is why she looks kind of like so shocked, like, oh my god. I would like to mention that in the song there are lyrics where they mention them being in the backseat of the car, and I obviously put them in the front seat, which is totally my fault. And as somebody who had listened to that song while working on this piece, plus many times before and after that, I can't believe I totally missed that part. And also the artist reference I made was the CDs that are like right front and center. I can't remember the names of the albums, but I know the one is Dark Horse, the one on like the right, and I can't remember the other two. I apologize. I'll include them right here. But this piece is a bit of a hot mess. Acrylic paint is another medium. Like, I was trying to do two different styles with this. Well, I couldn't stick to one style, so two ended up happening. That's what I should say. Because I thought about doing it like blendy, and then other times, like, I also thought I could have done it more, I'm just going to say blocky. I know that's probably not the right term, but I think you can kind of get what I mean. And I just, I did a combo of both in this piece, and it just looks like a hot mess. But anyways, the very last piece, because like I said, I'm not showing that one, is called A Slow Day. Here it is. This is a piece where you can tell I got so annoyed while working on it, which makes me like really sad because I love the concept, but I think I would have had a lot more fun if I did it in like watercolor as opposed to colored pencils, because again, colored pencils aren't my friend. I was like, let me be a good person and give them another shot, and they kicked my butt. But this is, again, colored pencils. There's also a little bit of acrylic paint as well as some ballpoint pen on it. So this is a love letter to movie stores. So I remember going to Blockbuster when I was little. I specifically remember a time where I got out of the hospital after having an allergic reaction to amoxicillin. And my parents went to make me happy, and they took me to Blockbuster to pick out a movie. But this particular piece is more related to like the 80s like movie stores, just because I really like the 80s and stuff like that. And it's kind of disappointing that these kind of like stores aren't around anymore, especially with like streaming services and stuff like that. But sometimes even on the streaming service, you can't find like like the movie you want to watch. So I think, like bring back movie stores. It's like one of the many things that like need to come back. But anyways, this piece shows two teen workers having like a slow day at work. So they're basically, the dude's taking a nap and the girl's on the phone painting her nails. This is another piece that has a lot of little details. There's an E.T. poster, an Evil Dead poster, and a Gremlins poster. Then the VHS tapes. So on the stack, there's Footloose, Sleepaway Camp, The Goonies, The Outsiders, and Risky Business. I was trying to read it on my iPad. I couldn't tell very well. And then under the new releases ones, there's Pretty in Pink, I know is one. There's Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Little Shop of Horrors, and I believe the other one was like Top Gun, because those came out, like, I believe it was 1986, but if I'm wrong, I'll include the correct year right here. But yeah, you can tell blending on the girl's skin, which made me really annoyed. I couldn't get the blending right, as well as like the countertop and stuff like that. Again, just something about those specific colored pencils. I used all Prismacolor ones, and like certain colors blend like way better than other ones. Like the shirts look like pretty well blended, especially like now I'm looking at like the guy's shoulder, and honestly it looks kind of nice. But like other like certain colors, they just wouldn't blend well, which was super frustrating. I also, for the specific piece, I literally like looked up like what orange Julius cups looked like in the 80s, which is probably like a detail like most people probably won't notice if I did like an older one or something, or like a more newer one. But for whatever reason, I was like, I need to make sure it's perfect, even though it's something most people won't care about. I also even put writing on the little post-it note on the stack of the VHS tapes, which say like please rewind and stuff like that. And the guy also has like a swatch watch on. I love when I do like pieces like this. I love doing like the tiny little details that make it just extra special. But anyways, those are all of the pieces that I included in my portfolio. Again, this was not a portfolio for like a big art school. I know sometimes they might have certain prompts and stuff that you need to do. This was just a portfolio that I made in order to get into the School of Art and Design and Art History at JMU, which is James Madison University. And like I said, this portfolio was accepted, which I'm very happy about. I am going to try to improve my skills. I can't wait to go to JMU. I am starting in like a few weeks, which is really nerve-wracking, but like I said, I'm excited, especially to learn some new things and stuff like that. And anyways, wish me luck for when I go back to school, as well as good luck to all of you who might be working on your own portfolio to get either into an art school, or maybe again doing something kind of like what I'm doing with like going to like another like university that doesn't specialize in art. I wish you the best of luck. I know you can do it. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!